Hey everyone, it's Misty. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this card with no stamps. This is for this week's Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. The theme is No Stamps Allowed, and we are featuring Simon Says Stamp exclusive products this week. So I'm using this leafy frame stencil, and I'm taping it down to some Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm going to do some ink blending on it first. And I started out with a few colors. I'm going to take one of those away. But I have a little bit of an issue when I start blending on this. So everything is fine as I'm starting off at the top of my blend. And then as I move down, I find it hard to keep the leaves in place. They keep wanting to move a little bit. And at first, I was really bothered by this. I didn't like that the leaves were moving and I wasn't getting a nice crisp white edge like I wanted. So I actually did this 3 times, and each time it was doing this. So I had to just go with it. I had to loosen up a little bit. I added some water droplets to it, and I'm glad I didn't stop or not use them because they turned out really good in the end. So I started out with some blueprint sketch, and now I'm moving on to Salty Ocean, and then I'll finish it off with Peacock Feathers, and these are all Distress Oxide inks. I really love this color combination, and the good part about doing this 3 times is I made 2 cards, as you saw in the picture at the beginning of the video, and I still have one more that I just didn't have time to make yet. So I have another background sitting there waiting for me to put a sentiment on it. I'm trying to keep it really light in the center. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the sentiment yet at this point, so I was thinking I was going to do it white. I was just trying to keep the whole card like a nice light, cool color. This would be a really good color to do an ocean scene too. Now here's where I think I kind of started the issue with the leaves. Well, I mean, I was having this problem up at the top too, but my tape got stuck to one of the leaves and it pulled it up. And as you know, with certain plastics, once it's bent, no matter how hard you try to bend it back, it never is really the same after that. So this is with the ink blending tools, and I'm just going to quickly show you. I'm going to do it again. I won't show the whole thing, but this time I'm going to use some removable tape on the back of my Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm going to do it with these brushes. Now they're not the life-changing brushes, like I said in my last video, that Simon Says Stamp sells, but I've heard great things about those brushes. These are just a brush that I heard people talking about in a Facebook group, and they were pretty inexpensive, so I just thought I would give them a try. Now the ones sold by Simon Says Stamp are made for ink blending. These are not. These are just makeup brushes, so that's why I really want to try the life-changing ones, because I'm sure they are even better than these ones. So again, I was hoping by having a lighter touch that I wouldn't have this issue, and I'm trying to, as you can see, take my tweezers and hold down the leaves that are wanting to shift, but that didn't really work. But that's okay. So the one on the left is the one I did with the makeup brushes, and the one on the right is what I did with the round ink blending tool. And now you're going to see me quickly get over my disappointment of not having crisp images by just spritzing it with some water. It's just, you know, when you have an idea in your head and it doesn't work out the way you had envisioned, that's what I mean by disappointment. But just adding some water droplets, I don't know, it just loosened the whole card up for me, so I was happy again. So I'm using this Thinking of You die by Simon Says Stamp. I don't really have any like sympathy cards, or I don't have any cards that say anything like this on them, so I thought this was a good opportunity to make a couple cards like this. So I'm going to cut the sentiment out 3 times using some Nina Solar White 110 pound cardstock. And I'm going to use some spray adhesive, this Craft Bond by Elmer's, and I have a box that I use to spray in. And I'm just going to glue them all together, which on these sentiments that have, or these dies that have, you know, several pieces to it, the spray adhesive is perfect for these. So it would have taken forever to do it with a liquid glue. Now I think I only glued 2 layers together here because I still wasn't sure if I wanted the top layer to be white or if I wanted it to be silver, which I'm going to end up doing one of each, but at this point I didn't know that yet. So I just found a cardstock that I thought matched my background here nicely, and I'm going to trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4. I really like this light kind of aqua color, but the next card I make, I'm going to do kind of a, like that blueprint sketch color, the Distress Oxide ink. It's kind of that color. It's a really pretty color. But I wanted to, this color kind of plays off the bottom of the card, and I thought the other color kind of plays off the top of it. So I'm just adding some craft foam to the back of it, because it's the best way to add dimension to a card. And here I was feeling like it was still a little too bland. See, this is why I have a hard time with clean and simple cards, because looking at this, I think this could have been a fine card. It could have added a couple embellishments and been done, but it just was missing something. So I pulled out one of my very favorite dies. This is from the frame die set from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to add this to it, just to give it that last final touch that I felt like it was missing. It was a toss-up between the silver glitter frame or just a white frame. So I'm going to add a few layers to that. Yeah, see here I'm going back between the white and the silver glitter. And this is not as easy as it looks to add layers to it because it's so thin. And I even used a 110-pound cardstock, but it's so thin that it was, you know, it's pretty flimsy. So again, I just used the spray adhesive, and it worked out. And I'm adding my trusty score tape to the back of my craft foam. I thought about doing liquid glue for just a second, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. All right, now I'm just going to start putting everything together here. Now, I'm not sure why I decided to do the syringe here on the back of this. I mean, the whole time I've been using the spray adhesive. And this particular one was a little bit squirmy, but I did it. I did it with a syringe. So what's nice about that syringe is it just leaves a really thin layer if you want it to. But it would have been much quicker just to use the spray adhesive. Look how pretty that looks. And at some point, I might have done it after I finished the video, but I'm just going to use my Wink of Stella pin, and I'm going to go over the thinking of you to add a little bit of sparkle to that too. Now here are all my little tittles. Yes, I layered those 3 times as well, which wasn't that easy. But I did 2 layers of the white, and then the top layer, no, that's right, the sentiment's all white, so I did 3 layers of the white. It's my next card that I did, which I didn't include in this video because I did the same exact thing. I just used, you know, different colors for the sentiment in the frame. I reversed them. This jewel picker upper, I think it's called, jewel picker, is really handy when putting on the little tittles on your sentiments. Because I've tried it before with the tweezers, and it did not work out. The tweezers would snap together, and then my tittles went flying, and I have no idea where they went. I never did find them. So the jewel picker is one of those must-have items. as is my score buddy there, because I'm always running out of card bases. So I just quickly scored myself 2 card bases, and I'm going to use some liquid adhesive to attach my card front here. I know, I think it was a little overkill, but that's okay. Sometimes I have a hard time getting a good seal around the edges, especially when I use craft foam like this. So I'll press it on the best I can, and then I'm going to just take my bone folder and I'm going to press all around all 4 edges here and just get a nice seal and help that glue dry there. And to finish it off, I'm just going to add some of these jewels. I think they're called jewels. They're really pretty silver, like metallic silver, which I thought matched my frame beautifully. So I think the moral of my card dilemma or annoyance or disappointment here is that, you know, if you just let go a little bit or allow yourself to accept change, because like I said, I had it set in my mind what I wanted it to look like. But once you kind of let go of that, it could be fun. You know, I thought adding the water droplets loosened it up a bit, and I was happy with how it turned out. So that's the moral of my story today. All right, well, those are my cards for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on that like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. All of the supplies that I used are listed and linked in the description below, and they'll also be over on my blog with more pictures and links to the Simon Says Stamp blog if you would like to join us this week. You can always head over to the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday Challenge blog too to link up your projects that way. So, all right, thanks. Bye.